In this video, I will teach you about API where you are left with no doubts. Not only that, you can teach others as well with full clarity. Before talking about API, I would like to share a real story. A story about my friend's father. I want everyone to pay attention to this story because it plays a major part in this learning process. I made it as visually appealing as possible to make it interesting for you. In Bangalore, there were two friends. One was rich and the other was from a middle class background. The rich person started a hotel and it was doing well, though there were still a few rooms that remained unoccupied. It wasn't a big problem and he thought of doing some advertising once he made a bit more money. Overall, things were going fine with the hotel. But the other friend, let's say Ramu, didn't have enough money to build a hotel of his own. However, he was smart enough to get rich one day. One day, Ramu met his rich friend outside the hotel. They talked for a while and then Ramu started heading home. On the way, he noticed something. There was a big gap between the main road and the hotel. The hotel wasn't very visible from the road and that gave him an idea. He went home, took some of his savings and came to a spot on the main road near his rich friend's hotel. He took a small shop for rent and started renovation work. Meanwhile, Ramu went to his rich friend and said, "I will send guests to your hotel and whenever someone comes and stays, I will pay you. Your staff can let them in when I send them. Every week I will pay you the money." The rich friend agreed, thinking, this is better than advertising. Advertising will cost money. So he happily accepted the deal. Ramu's plan was actually to open a remote reception with a board that said, "Best hotels at reasonable prices," a place with high visibility. He set it up to attract people walking by on the main road. They could come in and book rooms at the hotel. Ramu would take a commission for each booking. For example, if the hotel price was 3,000, he would charge 4,000. Ramu's employees would escort the guests to the hotel, mention Ramu's name, and the staff would let them in as agreed. This system worked well for a couple of weeks. Ramu made timely payments and both friends were happy. But after a while, something strange happened. The guest count was high, but the payment Ramu made was low. When the rich friend asked Ramu about it, Ramu said, "No, I paid for everyone I sent." They were good friends and knew each other well, so the rich friend didn't doubt Ramu and trusted him. So, they both investigated and found a glitch. Someone was pretending to be Ramu's employee and bringing guests to the hotel. The receptionist, assuming they were genuine, let them in under Ramu's name. After thinking about it, they came up with a solution. Ramu suggested, "Give me an access card. Whenever my employee comes, your receptionist should swipe that access card. If it's valid, then allow the guest to check in." Only Ramu's genuine employees would have the access card, so no one else could impersonate them. Both friends agreed this was a good idea. And guess what? It worked perfectly. Over the next couple of years, Ramu made as much money as his rich friend. One day, the rich friend asked, "With just a small commission model, how are you able to make so much money? You've bought a house, a car, and everything." Ramu replied, "I didn't only work with you. I partnered with many others. I just provided a service to many people, and that's how I was able to grow. Remember that access card idea? That worked really well." Both laughed. Both of them were good people at heart, and they were happy for each other. Their friendship continued, and they both succeeded in their own way. Okay, this is the story. For those thinking why you watch this story, let me explain. If you understood the story clearly, then you have learned about the API 90%. Here we saw Ramu provide hotel services without owning one, and also we saw what problems they faced and what solution they came up with, and also we learned how efficient that solution is and everything. Now, how is it related to API? The API is nothing but the access key. Yes, what is the work of access key? It checks whether it is a genuine Ramu's employee or not and provides access to the users. The same way, API key also provides access to their service if they have a valid API key. Now, we'll add technology into our story. Now, we all know ChatGPT is released, big hit, and everyone is using it now, making courses around it also because it's very helpful. So let's consider ChatGPT as hotel. As hotel took lots of money to build, the same way ChatGPT took so much money to build. As hotel needs so much money to maintain like hotel staff, electricity, water, etc. The same way ChatGPT also has hosting cost, GPU cost, etc. If you ask me, as Ramu started a remote reception and provided hotel service for the guests as if he has a hotel, the same way, can we provide ChatGPT with a remote reception as its own ChatGPT? The answer is yes. That is why API is created to use company services and technologies with each other by purchasing, sometimes free. Let's consider this a basic example. Over to this case, as we want to provide ChatGPT as our own, we need a remote reception like Ramu had to get our own customers. It can be a website, app. So as I said, we need a remote reception. So now, first we set up a remote reception. As this is basic level, we use a ready-made app which is used to test APIs. We use Postman for this. For those who don't know, the Postman is a crazy tool built by Abhinav Asthana, crazy guy who built it as a side project to test APIs. Now it is used by millions of users to test APIs. Anyway, we use this ready-made remote reception as remote reception for ChatGPT. Now we have the remote reception. Now how can I become ChatGPT? For that, we need API key. Now what is that again? You remember the access key from our story. The same way, we have a remote reception and now we need a key also. So where to get that key? As it is not a hotel physically, ChatGPT is an online platform. We can get the key also online. Search for ChatGPT API key or OpenAI API key. Both will show the same page. Open this link. Then go to this option. Then select API keys. There you get API key. And again, as I said, as Ramu is a friend, he agreed for postpaid payment. As Sam Altman is not our friend, he demands prepaid payment. So you will get charged only for what you use. So now we have keys and remote reception also. Now how to make our reception like ChatGPT? We'll talk about that. Now what does ChatGPT do? User sends a message, it replies to that in text. Or it gives image, the video, or code. This is what it gives at the end of the response, right? Whatever you ask for. So that's what our reception also does. Let's test. Okay, in chat we say, "Hi, can you tell me a joke please?" So as we see, it responded with a joke. Now we try to do the same from our app here. So to send a message in ChatGPT, we just send a message, but here we also need to send the key and address also. Now what the hell is address? In our story, guests come to Ramu's reception. Then from there, Ramu's employee escorts them to the hotel, right? Where do Ramu's employees escort users? Hotel. Which hotel? The rich friend's hotel, right? That is address. In our case, address is ChatGPT's address. And coming to content type, it is like saying, hey, the server I'm sending is formatted as JSON format. In our previous story, Ramu employee will tell to receptionist how many guests are arrived. The same way giving extra information. And as we mentioned earlier, we are sending data in JSON format. This is called JSON format. You don't need to worry about it. This is JSON format where we send our message, just like we send in ChatGPT. So as we see, we get response, a joke, just like we get it in ChatGPT. So now what we do is we modify the key and we send wrong key. Let's see what we get. As response in hotel, key is wrong. What does hotel people say? Very politely, sorry, we can't provide service as this access card is declined. Same way we get a response from the ChatGPT server. Also saying, dude, your API key is wrong. I can't provide our service. Here are some common responses you might see. Let me clear that off for you with this example. So that gives us example number 2. Here in this example, I changed the remote reception, made it better, and I positioned this app as thumbnail maker. So I gave it a status as thumbnail maker. Now it's an independent tool, no matter what API you use in backend. So here we are still using an API key. Here in this example, what it does is user can enter what type of thumbnail they want, what text they want in their thumbnail, and the resolution. That's it. They can get their preferred thumbnail in less than 10 seconds. See, we can see beautiful thumbnails it creates there. So these type of segmentation you can do and use best image model API keys or video model API keys and can sell other services as your own by using their API key. And I made this app. You can try by visiting lazyjobseeker.com website. I will give you a link below, or you can own this app also by cloning the repository. I made this open source and public. You can clone it, publish it for free. If you like learning about technology as easy as possible, then you have to be my subscriber. Bye. See you in next video.